Nobody is looking at your data analyst portfolio. Recruiters don't understand it. Hiring managers have better things to do than look at every applicant's titanic dataset analysis. Your resume, your experience, and your interview performance matter way more than portfolio projects. So you should skip them entirely, right? Well, not exactly. Look, in my experience, there are 3 valid reasons to do portfolio projects, and I'm going to cover them in this video. So stick around for number 3, because that's the one that could save you months or even years of wasted time in your analytics career. If you listen to people on YouTube, you are just one good portfolio project away from getting your dream job or at least getting an interview. But here's what hiring managers are saying. They rarely look at portfolios. Some hiring managers say they never use portfolios when deciding who gets an interview. Recruiters especially aren't spending time evaluating SQL, looking at dashboards or GitHub projects. I've been on both sides of hiring decisions at small companies and Fortune 50 organizations. I have never been asked for a portfolio when I've applied for a job. As a hiring manager, I have looked at an applicant's portfolio exactly once. Now, there are exceptions, particularly for candidates without experience, but there are exceptions, not the rule. So if nobody looks at your portfolio, why do them at all? So reason number 1, you can learn analytics tools by actually using them. Tutorials teach you how a feature works. Projects force you to figure out when and why to use it. You'll quickly discover the gaps in your SQL, your Excel, your Power BI, your Tableau, whatever. Projects force you to make decisions instead of following somebody else's lead. You learn how the different tools fit together into an actual workflow. A project can be ugly and still be valuable if you learned something from building it. Reason number 2, you learn how to work through analytic problems. Knowing analytics tools and knowing how to analyze something are completely different skills. In real life, you start with a question or a problem instead of simply asking, what can I do with this data set? You focus on reaching a useful conclusion or recommendation, not producing a cool looking dashboard. Your portfolio isn't successful because somebody clicked on the link to open it. It's a success if you learned something new and can explain what you did after the project. Okay, here's the big one. Reason number 3. You get to figure out what kind of analytics work you actually want to do. So pay attention whether you actually enjoy the business questions, not just the technical work of creating a dashboard or optimizing a SQL query or finding a new data set. Use your projects to discover the types of analytics you prefer: forecasting or customer behavior, operations, pricing, reporting, experimentation, whatever. Discovering that you hate an industry is still a successful project because you learned that before taking the job there. So stop asking what data set would make for a cool portfolio project, but instead ask, what type of business would I want to spend 8 hours a day thinking about? Then find data connected to that. So side note, if you need help finding data sets, I'll link to a resource below where I've compiled over 50 free public data sets in various sectors. It'll give you the opportunity to see if you like working with the data before getting hired. At a minimum, I would test industries like hospitality, retail, marketing, healthcare, and finance. The goal here isn't to build an amazing project. Remember, the goal is to sample the work you're going to be doing day in and day out. So here are some questions to keep in mind. Did the metrics make sense? And do you care about the answers, about the questions you're answering? Do you enjoy learning how the business works? Do you get curious and want to dive in deeper? Would you like to spend years becoming knowledgeable about this industry? And the equally important big one, did you hate it? That's useful information. So why does this matter for a job search? Once somebody finds an industry that interests them, future projects become a lot more intentional. Instead of being an aspiring data analyst with 6 random projects, you can start building knowledge around a particular type of business. Once you have that, it starts shaping what jobs you apply for and how you prep for interviews. One of the best things a portfolio project can do is tell you where you don't want to work. If you got this far in the video, here's the bottom line. I'm not telling anybody to stop building portfolio projects. I'm telling you to stop treating the portfolio like a golden ticket to an interview. Build projects to learn the tools. Build projects to practice solving analytic problems. Build projects to figure out what kind of work you actually want to do. A hiring manager looks at your portfolio, great, bonus. But understand that the best possible outcome isn't necessarily getting hired. If you spend 2 weekends doing a healthcare analytics project and realize that you don't care about the problems at all, awesome. You just avoided applying to 100 healthcare jobs that you would eventually hate. On the flip side, if you're fascinated by customer analytics and want to understand why they behave this way, perfect. Now you know what industries to target, and that can be a lot more valuable than a hiring manager visiting your portfolio. It's worth knowing what you want and what kind of analyst you want to become.